Hi, my name is Gabe with Ultimate Water, and today I'm going to review weekly, monthly, and quarterly maintenance requirements. The Chlorine Genie requires regular monitoring and maintenance to keep the warranty valid, maintain optimal chlorine production, and prolong the lifespan of the Chlorine Genie and its components. On a weekly basis, you need to spend about 5 minutes performing a few basic checks. First, confirm that the water source of the Chlorine Genie is still on and the water is flowing. You can verify water flow by checking the incoming water tubing located at the primary ball valve. Just unscrew the nut at the incoming water line a half a turn, and if the water source is flowing, water will begin to drip. Retighten the nut, then check the salt level of the unit. Pick up the salt stick and let it drop freely. Once settled, if 1 inch or more of the green is showing, then salt level is sufficient. Otherwise, add one 40 to 50 pound bag of salt at a time. If you can see gray on the salt stick, do not add any more salt. Once water flow and salt are confirmed, check the amperage meter and ensure it is reading 15 amps. You can increase or decrease amperage with the adjustment knob until the meter reads 15. If an amperage of 15 cannot be achieved with the adjustment knob, acid wash the cell. Ultimate Water recommends acid washing the cell at least once per month, but if sufficient amperage can't be achieved, it's a good sign there is a buildup on the cell, preventing sufficient amperage flowing through the cell. Lastly, test the pool's chemicals with a pool water test kit. Check the chlorine reading. If the chlorine level is too low, increase the daily run time on the Chlorine Genie. And if the chlorine level is too high, decrease the daily run time. Check the pH reading from the pool. If the pH level is below 7.2, close the pH discharge valve. If the pH level is above 7.8, open the pH discharge valve. Recheck the pH level next week and adjust the pH discharge valve per the same instructions. Once a month, on top of the weekly checks, you need to spend an additional couple of minutes checking components to ensure optimal performance. First, check the terminals on the side and back of the power supply cabinet, ensuring connections are tight and creating proper contact from wiring to terminal. Then, check the float feeder and the chlorine output line. If the unit is on, you should see a steady stream of water flowing through the float feeder and into the chlorine output line. With float feeder installations, calcium deposits can build up inside the float feeder. This can lead to issues at the float's seal and cause air bubbles in the chlorine output line. If this is the case, ensure all fittings going from the float feeder to the chlorine output line are securely fastened, but if error in the chlorine output line persists, acid wash the float feeder. Watch our video on how to acid wash a float feeder for specific instructions. Lastly, regardless of any visible deposits, you will need to acid wash the cell with 31% muriatic acid each month to maintain a valid warranty and optimize the unit's performance. Although a monthly acid wash is recommended, there are 2 signs to keep an eye on to understand if you need to acid wash more frequently. One sign is if incoming water hardness is above 150 parts per million. If incoming tap water is high hardness, Ultimate Water recommends acid washing twice monthly. The other sign is visible deposits in the float feeder or chlorine output lines, even if your unit was installed with a Venturi. If there are visible deposits in any of the downstream components, perform an acid washing. Please watch our video on how to acid wash the cell for step-by-step instructions. On top of the weekly and monthly checks, you need to perform a couple additional tasks to ensure the unit is operating properly and maintaining its warranty. The first is to verify or not whether the reverse osmosis cartridge needs to be replaced. This can be done with 2 checks, by checking the water flow of the tubing at the 4-inch precipitation tank and by testing the water hardness before and after the RO cartridge. Please watch our video on how to test your RO cartridge for step-by-step instructions. The other quick task is to check the time on the unit matches the time on the pool pump, as outages or daylight savings can cause mismatched times. You can find step-by-step instructions for each of these tasks in the video portfolio. Thanks for watching.